All right, all right, all right. Hello and welcome to my channel, Clear Waters, having a live conversation about Show Me Your God, Islam versus Christianity, which will deliver? We'll find out hopefully tonight. Um, like always, I'm gonna check on my live stream, make sure that it's running fine and that the audio is working fine. Let me lower the music. And I'm gonna check live stream, make sure it's running fine. Where's my live stream? Oh, there it is. There's our live stream. And we're just gonna check, make sure that it's running and the audio is fine. Oh, there it is. Perfect. So it seems to be working fine. Beautiful. Our Discord, I'm also gonna make sure that it's up and running. Sometimes I forget about these things. Here we go. Beautiful. Awesome. We're gonna check on that link. Oh, we have a new link for calls. So we gotta change the link. Got a new link. Here we go. Our Discord link. Oops. Here we go. Up. There you go. We center. Beautiful. So that's our link in case someone wants to call in and have a conversation about why in the world would you believe in a God, but we can have a respectful conversation about it. So that's up and excuse me, that's up and running. My Discord is running fine also. Beautiful. So this live stream a little bit late tonight because I was working, but live stream title is Show Me Your God. Please, if you're kind enough to share your God with me, could you please point to where your God is? I'm interested in knowing a little bit more about your God. But please don't show me a book. Don't show me the archaeological findings. Don't repeat words that you are taking from a book. Don't tell me about your feelings. All I'm asking, just a tiny little favor. Show me your God. Show me the God. No more books. No more archaeological findings. No more scientists turning into preachers. I want the God. Am I asking for too much? Javier, who are you to be asking for God? Are you mocking God? Are you mocking the Lord? Okay, don't get irritated. Maybe Islam or maybe any other religion. Show me your God. You don't have to. It's just my request, my personal request. Because, between you and me, I think it's very problematic that you keep talking about your God and you cannot show the God to anybody because most people think that you are just like lying or maybe pretending, like the God is real, is my Lord and Savior. Never seen it. So I think it helps with the credibility, with your credibility, if you share the God. Don't share the book. Don't share your feelings and how God saved you. We're tired of listening to this. We just want the God. We're not asking for too much. God is everywhere. So he should be here right now. Maybe only smart people can see God. That's why I cannot see it. Is it that? Only smart people can see God? Only believers can see God? Only people that have the Holy Spirit can see God? Or maybe nobody can see God. Only when we die and no longer have eyes, then we can see God. Extremely problematic. I hope you understand, if you're a believer in one of these gods from one of these books, why people like me call you out for believing in invisible gods that coincidentally, nobody can see. I cannot see your God of the Bible. I cannot see your Islam God, Allah. I cannot see any of these gods. So, would you get upset at me if the thought comes to my mind that maybe you are pretending that there's a God, that he saved you? You know, Sometimes I get a little bit tired of turning on the lights, start the video, and it keep asking, anybody out there has a little bit of evidence that there is a God? Having no God in my life is a little bit lonely. So maybe you have information where I can find a God, but please don't point me to a book. God is not in the book. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe God is supposed to be seen with the heart. You gotta see God with your heart. You're never gonna see it. You're never gonna see God with your eyes. Only a pure heart can see God. No, man. I don't think anybody on this earth has a pure God, a pure heart. Only children, maybe. I'm putting on the chat the link in case anybody wants to have a respectful adult conversation about maybe where you can point me to where I can find a God. Show me your God. Call in and share the information. So there it is. You have a chance to tell the whole world where we can find the God that you believe is real. Welcome, show me your God. Call in and share the information. There you go. There's the link right there. Or maybe you can send me a chat. Javier, if you go down to, I don't know, some part of the earth and turn right, there's going to be a God sitting in that street, maybe. I'm just playing with you. I don't know. So many people, there are millions and millions and billions of people that believe that a God is real and is alive. Again, I'm just asking, could you please be so kind to tell me where this God is? Don't tell me also, please, that is in another dimension because you say that God interact with you because he saved you. And some people say that God give them special knowledge, divine revelation, or God told me last night, God revealed to me. So if you are saying these things or thinking about it, maybe the God is not in another dimension. He's very close to you. Or are you just saying these things to people to think that you are very close to the God and people look up to you like, oh my God, you see this guy, God give him messages. So God lives in another dimension, but when it comes to this God influencer, God is very close to him. There's a high possibility that the God influencer is just lying. Javier, why would someone lie about God? Are you serious? You want to make that question? Do you want me to answer it? Why would a person pretend that they're having communications directly with God? There are different reasons. Because the money. There's money. There is energy. I heard something here. Oh, we got a caller. Pioyo, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Let me bring the volume up. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Man, something might be wrong with your microphone because I can hear you muffled.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not wearing good headset right now.
Wow,
So you can take your
that's gonna
time.
be a tough one because I can barely understand what you're saying. You're like inside a box.
Yeah, it's okay. I I was I was curious about who this contact was, and now I know it's you.
Hey, Piotr, can you get closer
Uh,
to the microphone?
yeah, I'll really leave you to that. Don't worry about me. Have a nice day.
All right, man. All right. Oh man, wish I have a conversation with you, but the microphone it sounds horrible. It sounds like "Woof, woof, 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 woof."
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, you're
me.
right.
It's me asking for God. Someone has any knowledge of a God? Please share with me. It's me again.
Yeah, it's good. Have a nice day, man. God bless you. Amen.
All right, man. Take care. Pioyo, I have talked to him before. Kind conversation, interesting conversation. Unfortunately, something doesn't sound right with the microphone, and I could barely understand what he was saying. Hopefully, it's not on my side. Sometimes I have technical difficulties, but think that the Discord is working fine. I don't see any problems. So thank you, Pioyo, for calling in. Unfortunately, we could not have a conversation right now, but you can call anytime as long as we can have a respectful conversation. Awesome, like the one we had before. So in this case, yes, it's me. I'm still asking for anybody out there, you know, that has information where can I locate one of these gods from one of these books. I'm interested on having a meeting with one of these gods. I want to have a conversation uh, to see what's wrong. For example, the God of the Bible. I want to find out, talk to the God and find out what's going on in heaven because I understand that there's problems in heaven They're angels that are falling from heaven. So apparently there's a revolution in heaven. Something is going on. I want to find out. I also want to find out one where one went wrong with humanity, why he keeps blaming humanity for the flaws that he himself created. And Allah, I also have questions. I have many questions for any God that show up. It can be Jesus. Jesus, maybe not that much. Maybe Jesus, I will ask Jesus, what are you doing here? You should be in a hospital healing children. So, out, on your way, you go. No conversations with you. You do miracles, go get in a hospital. No miracles with me, please. So, as long as I don't see or have data that any of these gods are real, I will continue to understand that believing in gods is problematic for humanity. And as long as the God that you believe in is invisible, is problematic. Because then if your God is invisible, you have competition. Your God has competition. There is a new God in town taking over humanity. More and more people are listening what I'm saying about Chulum. You think this is a joke, but you will find out that more and more people are asking me questions about Chulum. Why? Because Chulum is the only non-violent God out there. No jumping through hoops. No conditional love. No hells. No heavens. No worshiping. You don't have to get on your knees and bend down to Chulum. He doesn't care. You can call Chulum stupid. He does not care. He's a God. He doesn't get upset. He created upsetness. Why would he get upset with something that he created? You see, Chulum is a real God, not like the God of the Bible, not like the God Allah. That for some reason they forgot about their God duties, and now they are completely involved with humans. What are humans doing? Are they behaving the way I told them to behave? Are they doing what I told them to do? Do they have discipline? No, Chulum doesn't care. He made you a human. Go be human. So, remember the name. Chulum, the only non-violent God out there. Someone asked me yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes. How do I know about Chulum? And my answer was quick. Through divine revelation. You see? Huh? So, thank you for everybody that had asked me about Chulum, the new God in town. More and more people are directing their energy and their attention to a God that is not gonna have violence on you. He doesn't need your love. He doesn't care if you insult him. Doesn't care. Why? Because why in the world would the God that created you will be upset at you? Why? Doesn't make sense. That's why Chulum doesn't care about what you do. He doesn't care what you think. He doesn't care what you feel. He's not coming to save you. He has nothing to save you from. Unlike the God of the God of the Bible has to save you from himself. That's a brutal truth that most believers can still not swallow. You are being saved by God from God. So, the same person that asked me this question yesterday asked me, okay, how can you prove that Shalom is real? I'm like, very easy, extremely easy. The universe. The universe couldn't come up by itself. It had to be created. It cannot come from nothing. So it was made by Chulum. You see? There's proof right there. Remember the name. Chulum. So whenever you present your invisible God, I will present to you back another invisible God, and we're gonna get in a conversation to try to prove which God is real and which one is made up. And we're gonna see how that goes. Hopefully you have hours, days, weeks, months, years available trying to prove that Shulung is not real. So I'm here waiting. Someone can show me a God, tell me that the God of the Bible is real. Are you gonna be selfish and you're not gonna share it with another human being that is asking you, please, can you please tell me where this God of the Bible is? And please don't point to the book. Don't point to your heart, to your feelings. Am I asking for too much? Am I being disrespectful? Am I hurting your feelings by asking you, where is the God that you believe in? Am I being disrespectful? If I'm questioning what motivates you to believe in the God that you believe in? What's your motivation? Is it the God, or is it the emotional rewards that you get from believing in the God? Are you in for the God, or are you in for the feelings? Does it feel good to believe in the God that you believe in? If you feel bad, really bad about believing in the God, would you still believe? Or maybe the God doesn't offer you enough good feelings and you're going to go and shop around for another God that offer you better, stronger feelings? What is it going to be? I'm just asking. Javier, why are you so interested in this topic about God? And why questioning people's motives to believe in a God? Everybody needs to believe in something, Javier. You don't understand that. You are upset at God. What happened to you, Javier? In a way, you're right. I had this stupid idea of starting to be honest with myself. What was I thinking? What was I thinking when I started asking questions? Man, very wrong. I was trying to get more knowledge, try to understand about life and myself a little bit more, and start questioning my beliefs. What was I thinking? Now, by asking these questions, I have come to understand that I have been living in a bubble with this God that I believe in from the Bible for years. How come I was not able to tell that this whole thing was made up? And by continuing to ask questions and looking back, I'm like, man, there was a big blockage. There was a cover in my eyes. Now I understand why they call it blind love. I was blinded by my love with the idea of a loving God, that I took the data from a book. That explains why, to me, I always felt that the God was real. And the key word is felt. The God felt real. It was just all a lie. I was lying to myself. I was working hard on my imagination, trying to imagine the God. So, what's the big problem with this whole thing that I'm talking about? This is one of the biggest problems we have in humanity. Look around, listen around. Everybody's lying, pretending, especially when it comes to God. You believe in a God, man, I'm going to be nice. Most likely, you are pretending. You have come to fool yourself for so long that now you cannot tell the difference when you're talking to yourself from an honest point, honest human being, or you're just lying to yourself. You use the God information from the book, and you erase that line. You don't want to see that line. You don't need that line that differentiates when you're lying to yourself and you're being honest with yourself. Because that line jeopardizes your relationship with the idea of the loving God. If you come to the realization that the God is made up, that is not going to feel good to you, and you are going to avoid pain at all cost. I ask you a question. Why do you keep marketing your relationship with the particular God that you believe in? Why you want to tell everybody that you believe in the God and how good the God is? If you have a relationship with your wife, are you going to be telling everybody about your relationship with your wife? Javier, my wife is not God. We're talking about the relationship. I think the reason you're doing it is because you need the validation. You need that importance. You need to validate those feelings, that belief. Otherwise, it starts coming down, and you start creating distance with the God, and it doesn't feel good. So you want other people to tell you, yes, 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 the God is real. Yes, yeah, he saved you. He also saved me. Oh, let's dance together. The God is real. And your feelings go up again, up, replenish the God, replenish the good feeling. You see, I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy. There's other people that also believe in God. Why are you getting from this, believing in this information? You're getting importance. You feel, man, I can debate about the God. You see, I know the book. I can repeat stuff that I learned in the book. God is very close to me. He's in my heart. I can share with you. But you will not share with me. You will not tell me what the God is. In yesterday's live stream, I put, where you see that name, Show Me Your God, Islam versus Christianity, which will deliver. I put down there, please, no preaching. Don't preach to me. Because if you're going to preach to me, I'm going to preach back to you about anything else. You want me to preach you about LGBT community? You want me to preach you about Chulum? Do you want me to preach you, if you're talking to me about Islam, do you want me to preach you about the God of the Bible? We're not going to get anywhere. Because you're talking about your feelings. You're not talking about a God. You're talking about a book. You're repeating stuff that you got from a book. And the whole thing because of the emotional rewards that you get from believing, not in a God, believing that the data that your eyes are reading on a piece of paper is accurate. That's what you're believing. You don't believe that a God is real. You believe that the information in the book is real. That's why someone asks you, hey, you believe in God? Yeah, I believe in God. No, you believe that the information is real. You're getting God not from God. You're getting God from a book. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I explaining myself? Am I doing a good job? Maybe I'm doing a shitty job. You are not getting God. You are getting data from a book. You don't have a God to show anybody. That's why I keep asking on my live stream, where's the God? Where's the God? Can you at least point to where the God is? Can you show the God? They say that the God is everywhere. Can you point it? Where's the God? No. But Javier, Corinthians chapter 9, 14 verse, for the love of Shalom, don't cite parts of the book where the same book is telling you that the God from the book is real. You know how silly that is, man? People don't tell you that because they don't want to offend you. They don't want to be disrespectful, but that's silly. I'm saying the word silly not to say something that is going to be probably a little bit offensive. There's no need to. Don't cite the book that you're getting the data that talks about a God to prove that the God from the book is real. Come on. We can do better than that. We're adults. Are you trying to fool me? Like you've been fooling yourself for so long? You think you're going to be able to get away with that with other people? And some people are not going to call you out on your pretending? Pillow pants. Man, I didn't see that message. Okay, pillow pants, right. No one is interacting because you are obviously off your medication. Have a great day. Don't walk into traffic. Man, that's it's a sign that someone's feelings got hurt. because when you talk about a God, you are not really talking about a God. You're talking about people's feelings. You see, you say something about the God, people get hurt. That doesn't tell you anything. You believe because of the feelings that you get. You threaten that source of feel good that you're getting from this God. People get offended. Are you trying to disconnect my good feelings from this God? I hope you go back to your medication. Don't walk into traffic. Don't kill yourself. Why are you saying these things? What part of me being honest with myself, at least, being transparent and having some decency, what part of that you don't like? Maybe because Pillow Pants, the God is your Lord and Savior. He saved you because God is your Savior. And here this guy Javier is trying to remove that from your life. Is that going to hurt you? I understand. None of these gods like honest people. None of these gods like smart, intelligent people. None of these gods like people asking questions. And my question is, where is the God? Are you getting upset because I'm asking you for information where I can find the God? Does that hurt your feelings? I like the saying that says that you see in other people what you cannot or choose not to see in yourself. I have learned that is very extremely accurate. You see in other people what you don't want or choose not to or cannot see on yourself. So maybe this Pillow Pants believes that there's an invisible God that is going to save him. And he's asking me that I am off medication because maybe I'm crazy, because I'm asking where the God is. Hopefully you understand how this works. Man, that's tough. But normally I'm a very familiarized with this type of um, responses from people that believe in one of these gods from one of these books. But, anyways, excuse me. So, don't be asking, where is God? Because just the act of asking that question is going to offend people. What does that tell you about gods and the beliefs in gods? If you are in this live stream, I don't know how many people are in this live stream right now, probably none. I don't know. People get sometimes see these live streams after they're being recorded, or they hear it from shorts that I made from the live stream. But this is one of the reasons I made these live streams, because of the way people act and react when you talk about a God. People can get violent, people can act in different ways, people can act crazy. So if you're telling me, Javier, you're wrong, you're wrong. People that believe in God, they have their morals from God, they're very peaceful. No, you're lying. People can do things that normally they will never do without a God. But you introduce a God into their life, they're going to do some crazy things and say the most outrageous things to the point that is unbelievable. I was there myself. So I experienced it. How confused about life can you be when you are introduced with one of these gods? It's extremely problematic. And that's the reason I'm doing these live streams, to offer a better option. If you still want to believe in a God, I always offer you Chulum, the only non-violent God. Any other God is going to be violent, conditional love, traps, mind games, emotional manipulations. Chulum is the only God that is not into any of these things, because he's a real God, not like the other ones. So, if you're going to believe in a God, yes, Chulum, the God that is taking over. But anyways, it's been 38 minutes. Supposedly, there's a counter here that says that 180 people has stopped by at least for 20 seconds. I guess that's how the counter works. I don't know. And still no information about any of the currently available gods. Nothing, not even one piece of information of here. You can find God here, go there. Some guy, pillow pants or lady, I don't know, told me to go find God in walking into traffic. Maybe he's correct. Maybe walking into traffic, you're gonna find God. Interesting. But yeah, I only not do videos about the problematic of believing in God. I also do other topics. Actually, very soon I'm going to be changing topics. It's just that right now I'm seeing the big, humongous problems we're having all over the world with this problematic of normalizing a mental, emotional problem. Believing in God is a mental and emotional issue that someone has to go to extremes in irrational ways to try to make themselves feel better about themselves because they have not find anything on this earth that can make them feel better. So the question is not if a God is real or not. The real question is, why do you need a God in your life? Tell me about it. What's going on in your life? Why do you need morals? For example, you want to get your morals from the God of the Bible? The God that sent his only son to be brutalized, murdered? You're gonna get your morals from that God? The one that got rid of I don't know how many millions of people, men, women, and children in the great flood? You're getting your morals from that God? What's wrong with you? Tell me about your life. And I'm gonna tell you why you are needing a God in your life. Why other people live happy lives with their happy family without a God, and you need a God in your life. Tell me about your mom, your dad. Tell me about your family. What happened when you were young? Is there a trauma? Something happened? Because you are not the only one going to extremes trying to make yourself feel better. There's other people doing other types of extreme activities to feel better about themselves. People are doing crazy things to be something else that they are not in order to make themselves feel better. And you are trying to do the exact same thing when you're trying to make this got from this data that you got from a book that you pay, I don't know, $50, and try to work your imagination to make the God real so you can get the good feelings from these beliefs. Because the good beliefs are only gonna come from you, from no one else. It doesn't matter if it is from a God or from a anything else. Maybe you can, I don't know, get tired of the God and you feel better about thinking yourself being a cat or a dog or something else. Whatever feels good, whatever makes you feel good. So, why do you need a God in your life? What happened? If you can believe in an invisible God that is watching you and watching us, some people, it's inevitable. Some people are going to think you are nuts. You are out of your mind. So, when someone else do something that looks like they are out of their mind, if you believe in a God, you are the worst person to criticize anybody because you're part of a group that was able to normalize a problem. But the problem will not go away. You still have it. It's just being normalized. I got a call. Hello? Uh, you are muted, I think. Hello, hello, hello. There you go. I can hear
Hello.
now.
Yeah, hi. Sorry about that.
Hello, how are you?
Not bad, you?
Good, 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 good. Please get a little bit close to your microphone if you don't mind.
Is that better?
A little better. Let me just bring the volume
Yeah.
up. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. I stumbled upon your show and just I heard you talking about I just caught the last 30 minute or 30 seconds of what you were talking about. So I had something to say.
Go
If
ahead,
you don't
please.
mind me just jumping in there, if you don't mind.
Not at all, man. After normally what I do on my live streams at the beginning, I do a little presentation. Then up to that
Right.
point, I interact, receive calls and everything. So that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, cool, cool. So you were saying that people should be happy with themselves and they don't need this sort of placebo God in our mind, that we fabricate a God just to feel better, feel happy, and feel comforted by that fact. Was that your position, basically?
Not at all. Not at all, because that would
Oh,
be the opposite side. You're pretending to be happy. I don't need a God in
right.
my life. I'm very happy. No, no, no. It's just a balanced center position where we don't know what happened to Earth. We don't know where the universe comes from. We don't understand what's going on. We need to ask more questions. We need to investigate. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So sorry, are you a theist then?
Uh,
You're one who
if, if,
believes in
if you mean atheist, no, I'm not.
No, not atheist. You're the opposite of atheist. You're a theist, one who believes in God.
I don't like labels. I'm a human being that thinks
Okay.
that there's more out there that we are getting from these books, and I actually think that the books are keeping us from getting more knowledge about what's out there, that we don't know what's out there. The books,
Right.
in
Right.
my point of view, wants to keep our minds and our hearts in the books.
Right, sort of distracted from the real thing and restricted to certain parameters, whatever they put in the books and so forth. You would have to, I mean, that's quite the conspiracy theory if you would, you know what I mean? I mean, the Bible, I'm a Christian, so I believe in the Judeo-Christian Bible, Old and New Testament. That's 1500 years of writings that, to most people's esteem, they correspond. So I would sit here and say 1500 years of conspiracy, is on the surface a little outlandish. Like you'd have to sort of sit there and say there was this unified decision to keep people in the dark, to keep people. I mean, if just based on your premise, what you said, I'm sure you have other reasons to not believe in it. You might think it's absurd with what it says, but just to address the reason that there's a motivation to keep people blind and away from the truth.
And I don't think I probably sometimes, because of the way I talk, probably give. Sometimes I have to clarify, some more than one time. It's not
Right.
that I'm thinking, there's a group of people that wants to keep us away from the information when they wrote these books. No, no. I'm saying that probably whoever wrote these books had some knowledge and didn't want people to gain the knowledge and level the plane for humanity. So they rode a sideway so people follow that that
Oh,
road. But it's just an idea for me. I'm sharing with you what
right,
happened with
right.
my life when I was reading the Bible. I used to be participating in the church a lot. I was in
I see.
different groups. I spent days at church. And in my case, the big problem that I started having doubt, is when I grabbed the Bible and started reading it by myself. That was the starting of departure.
Right.
But when you said that thousands, I think you said, correct me if I'm wrong, please, that you said that thousands of years of this information about God of the Bible, and people
Right.
having this information, I have to step back from looking at things in the sense from the book. And now, for me to be able to understand a little bit more of what's going on, I have to look to the individual. We as human beings work with something that is called fuel. In my case, I believe that that's the fuel of life. Every human being needs something that is called fuel. Okay? So when you find a source of feel good in your life, it doesn't matter where it comes from. You will get attached to that hose of feel good in your life, and you will pump that fuel in your life for as long as you can. And the gods from these books offer that because of the strong associations that people have with these gods and what happens in church with the music, with the
Right.
healing presentation. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, that's a strong statement. There's many implications to that. I mean, you're it's a big indictment for all those who go to church that they're sort of like lemmings, just sort of following without thinking through what they're going. There's countless books, literature on the philosophy of righteousness and wisdom, and gaining that and how it that gives you peace. And even a man, even like you said, if everybody's seeking pleasure in sort of not a hedonistic but an Epicurean manner, if you will. I mean, people, you're right, we gravitate to what makes us feel good, what gives us peace.
Mhm.
But as a mature man, by the time you're 18, you begin to realize getting drunk every night is not the remedy. That sort of short things of bliss, if you will. A lot of things, being promiscuous, being eating too much of your favorite foods, the rich and fatty foods, it's not, that's not the answer to peace. Just following what makes you feel good, listening to a sermon, listen to your friends tell you, patronize you, if you will. Yeah, this girl loves you. Don't worry, go after her, when she actually doesn't. They might want to make you feel good, but they're leading you, they're not intentionally, but they're leading you down a consequential path. So as we get older, we don't want to hear what we want to hear. We want to hear the truth. A mature man does. And I wouldn't think that many mature men who are going to churches, reading the Bible, are just there to hide from reality and just the little safety heaven. Okay, Jesus spoke some very comforting words. I'll always be with you. God will always protect me in the Psalms, whatever you want to read. I don't know if mature men would, just buy every good news they hear.
I think that at the end, thank you for sharing that. I think at the end, if you go to church because the information that you get from church helps you in your life in a way or different ways, or the information that you get from the book, from the information from God, from Jesus, helps you in
Right.
your life to live a better life, to have more peace, it does not remove the same idea or the way I look at things that you are after the feelings, not the God.
Like, oh, is that right?
Correct me if I'm wrong. If you go to church and every time you go there, you end up throwing up because the horrible things that you feel in there, you will not go there. You go there
Oh,
because
true.
you're getting emotionally rewarded from doing something that you have a strong positive association. If you go to church, and let's not be so opposite, like feeling bad. If you go to
Yeah.
church or you read the book and you don't feel absolutely anything, your humanity, the way you are designed, you will go to something else that offers you emotional rewards, because the way I see it, that we are constructed as human beings, you must move toward polarity, toward positive. That you cannot get rid of that. You are designed that way. So as long as you get positive feelings from doing the things that you like to do, and one of those things is going to church or getting or reading the Bible, you will continue doing it because of the emotional rewards. It has nothing to do with the God.
Yes, I would say that's a certain percentage, a very small percentage of people who are just seeking a social thing, or just that, again, that placebo. Now, many people believe that the truth will set you free. Me, I want to know the truth. I want to know what's out there. I want to know if when I walk out my door, what I have to face. God is there, and or is a gangster gonna bust into my home? I'm gonna get hit by a car. Is a tornado or a disease gonna get me? I do want to know the truth. And I think that if I believe that God created it, because again, believing in God requires a great discipline. I can't womanize. I can't drink every night. I can't party all the time. It is now self-control. And that doesn't initially that doesn't make you feel good, but you know it's going to build character. Now, of course, you're going to equate that to, well, there's a benefit, and you're going to sit there and you could use your same philosophy saying I'm going after the benefit, but many theists, as you should know, that we do believe God is the source. Like if we believe in justice, we don't like to see people being kidnapped, obviously raped, wars, lies, stealing. We don't like that stuff, and it would make no sense if there wasn't a God who had that sort of instilled that morality within us, that idea. So it's not just I'm not just doing it selfishly, just for my own, whatever makes me feel good, I will gravitate towards. I understand that believing in God comes a great discipline. I've got to change my paradigm altogether. It's not if it feels good, do it. It's the opposite. If it feels good, be very wary. You can get addicted and it can destroy you. It can lead you down to pregnancy, unwanted babies, diseases, adulteries. If it feels good, a mature man does not go. Like many who are the Buddhists who are very self-depriving. So not all people are seeking just that feel good. They discipline inspires them, self-control,
But let me ask you,
wisdom.
yes, allow me to please ask you something. Can you
Yeah.
mention one thing that you think that attracts you to God that does not relate to you feeling good about God? Can you give me one example?
Um, maybe wrath, maybe potentially if I fall away, the wrath that I will have to face. If I do, even if I do
But
just
that
something,
yeah, but that's you are avoiding pain. You're trying to move from negative to positive right there by avoiding God's wrath. You don't want pain. So you're moving to good. So that's not a good example in my point of view.
no, right, right. No, I hear you. But I'm saying that even though I still insist on believing in God, I do know that again, I have to watch myself. So I do have that care and concern. Oh, did I sin yesterday? Oh, did I say something that's going to offend God? Even though I'm still believing, and I'm not saying, okay, this is too much trouble. It's too much. I'm worried too much. Therefore, I'm going to abandon God. Like I haven't. I'm staying in there still with that trepidation that I have
What would
every day.
happen? What would happen if you abandon God?
If I refuse to, okay, then I would have to say he doesn't exist for me to abandon him. Otherwise, I'd be just reckless to,
But you said that you would not abandon God, like it is an option. Why would you abandon God
right,
if you even
right,
think comes cross to your mind that for a moment that you will abandon God? What do you think you will
right.
feel at that moment?
Right, because I'm saying I would have to say to myself, okay, God, your laws are too strict, they're too hard to follow, therefore I don't think you actually exist. This is too onerous upon any man to do. I think then I'd have to sort of rationalize in my mind, you don't exist because if you are as powerful as people as they say you are, you wouldn't be this nitpicky, this petty with your laws. Therefore, I reject your laws. I reject you. I'm going to live my life the way I want with no threat of punishment over my head.
But you know that's
But I
not
have,
true. You know that that's not true. You're lying to yourself.
well, no, no, I'm one. A person would draw that conclusion, and many have.
No, but
Many
we're
have.
not talking about a person. We're talking about you.
Oh, okay, no, sure, sure. Well, therefore, I've said to myself, even Jesus says you will be persecuted. You will. They are going to come after you. If anything you do in my name, people will believe they're doing a righteous act when they kill you.
Yeah, you you
Like
you
so,
you you, you change the subject.
well, no, no, sorry. I mean, I'm staying in the faith, even though there are negative aspects about it.
Well,
You will like you.
you didn't answer my question. I mean, I don't want to
Okay.
force you. You don't have to answer the question.
No, no, I'm sorry. I'm trying to understand it. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, you said that if you tell God this, that maybe He's not real. You will not do that because you do believe that He's real. So you will be lying to yourself, and lying to yourself is not going to feel good. So you're not going to do that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and that's right. So I tried again. That's right. You're absolutely right. It's too hypothetical. I will not probably abandon because I do believe he exists. But
Mhm.
I was trying to give you a reason. You asked me, was there anything negative about him that I stay in here for? And again, as a Christian, as Jesus warned us, as Paul warned us, we're going to get persecuted. We will get persecuted. So does that answer that question? That there's a negative thing here that I'm facing head on.
Okay, let's say that being prosecuted doesn't feel good, right?
Right,
And you still believe in God, right?
right.
But what happens if you hang in there, even though you're persecuted? What's going to happen at the end?
Oh, right. There's going to be a reward for me in the end.
You're going to be saved,
Right,
and that
right.
makes you feel good.
Oh, okay. Then, therefore, I don't have an answer for you. That I can't think of anything. But that's hypothetical because God is always promising us just that. That that this is the better way. This is the truth.
No,
Abide by my ways, and
that's not a promise from God. You believe that that's a promise from God taken from an information from a book. God didn't tell you that. The book told you that.
well,
So
well, y-
in the way I see things, you get the information from the book, okay? And the information feels good to you, and then the God starts to feel real and feel good. And therefore, you will continue attaching information to your feelings, and it's going to feel better and better to the point that you can be prosecuted and still hanging there because the emotional rewards are way too big, too strong. You will be safe. God is very happy with you. You are a good believer in God, and you will be rewarded. And that makes you feel good. The moment that you don't feel these things anymore because of whatever happens in your life, and these attachments start to get disconnected, you either will stop believing or you will chop around for another God. That's the reason why people convert to other religions, because some of these plugs, connections get disconnected. We're talking about humanity and human mechanics. You cannot talk about a God and ignore a human design, structure, mechanics, because everything about God is 100% coming from you. If someone hits you in the neck and you get unconscious, you're not believing in God in that moment. God is not making any miracles on you. You're disconnected because your emotional state is not there. So
right.
that's why I said in my live streams that believing in God has absolutely nothing about believing in God. Believing in God has to do with your feelings and your relationship with yourself. You don't have
Listen,
to believe me.
oh, no, no, of course, of course. No, you are 100% correct. Now that I've thought it through, I've never had that question I've never heard it put that way before. So I've had to think it through. You are 100% correct that yes, I am searching for, but I think you are missing the one component that there is that what I believe, many people, again, if you're a mature person, you believe the truth will be in your best interest. Just follow what's true. So if this girl likes you, accept it. That's in your best interest because you're going to chase her for 10 years all in vain. So even the negative. is for the better outcome. Even the negative, we take it for the better outcome because in the long run, it's best for us. So we take medicine we don't like to take, even though it tastes nasty, or we have to not go to a concert because we have to heal our leg. We suffer a little bit because in the end, we're looking for the greater glory. You're absolutely correct, but that pertains to every man on this planet. He doesn't like the Bible, he doesn't like what it says, so he's going to choose where he finds his peace. But you're missing the component that, again, it's the truth we're looking for. And if God exists, I want to know exactly what he wants. It's like, I mean, if a car, you got to believe it has an engine in it, or you'll never be able to function well without that knowledge. If the universe we live in has a creator, and you make that induction just through evidential means by seeing the design, teleological arguments, all that stuff, man's spirit within him, you draw a conclusion and say, I want to find the truth because that will bring me the greatest pleasure. So you're right, but that I think everybody, even the atheist, is doing that so much, and even more so the atheist, where he's a bit more in denial, in my opinion. I believe God exists, and you can't avoid that evidence. But an atheist will even go as far as more being in denial to satisfy his desires. He doesn't want to have any laws, doesn't want to have the restrictions. Whereas I'm not seeking God for protection where I just want to be happy regardless of him. I am happy because he's there.
Yes,
I'm
you're.
happy because he is the source of truth.
Yes, that makes you happy, and that's the reason you believe.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I believe he's there. I mean, if he's not there, then I'm going to be an idiot. Then that's going to be consequential. If I believe he's there and he's not, that's
Then,
consequential. I want
uh,
to avoid the consequence.
yes, I mean, you said it, not me. God makes you
What,
happy, and the thought of God not being real doesn't feel good. So you will stay away from that possibility. Apart from that, you said that you want the truth. It seems to me you want a truth that comes from the book, not the truth. Because the truth, you will not find it in a doctrine. You will not find it in an information that got from a book that some people wrote 2,000 years ago.
why not?
There, because there is, let's call it truth that has entire priority from the information that you're getting from the book. For example, if I put my hand on fire, that's an absolute truth to me in that moment that I'm feeling pain. I
Right.
will not think about the book in that moment. I'm not going to be thinking about God. I'm going to go back to my humanity in that moment. And now, this is the real truth. I have to confront my humanity, my feelings, and this feels horrible. If probably one of the sometimes problems I have in my live stream trying to communicate what I'm trying to say with the problematic of believing in gods is
Uh-huh.
that you might be having trouble right now coming to the realization, okay, that this belief that you have, very respectfully, okay, I'm not trying to convince you
Yeah, yeah,
anything, that this
yeah.
information is real because it makes you feel good. But there's a problem with that, okay? Because of the data. When you are able to associate data to a human being's source of feelings, there's
Right,
a
right.
problem because if you control someone's feelings, you will control the actions. You have the data, you control the feelings, people are going to do what you want them to do. That's why, for example, in the case of Islam, okay,
Yeah.
they are taking over countries, the world. because of the
Yeah.
data and the power of association to have on people feelings that they will do things that for you and me might be crazy. Why would you go to another country that you know is Christian and you want to change religion? You want to change the way they think because you think you are a better human being because your God is better. In my point of view, you are doing the exact same thing. They're just doing it on the opposite side. You think that God of the Bible is good. It makes you feel good. It just happens that the same things that you're feeling, the other guy from Islam is having the same exact data and feelings and going to take probably a different action that you're going to take. Probably you're not going to try to change people's minds to believe in your God, but this is the power and this is the problem when you have a doctrine and you have the power to control people's feelings. People normally will do bad things. That's why the saying goes that when you introduce a God to someone, they are able to do bad things. This is what happens. So the way I see it, you are contributing to a problem. You don't know it yet. Like myself, when I was blindly in love with God, I did not care what anybody told me about God. He was my Lord and Savior, and He was first. He was first than my family, than my friends. He saved me. Today, that's very problematic because someone could say the same thing from another God, and they don't have to prove that the God is real. And they will try to change your country, your mind, your family based on this data that might not be real. So that's why I say I make these live streams. Believing in God is problematic. And I don't know if you saw it, but I put this, give me just 1 second here. I put this, I don't know if you see it on the screen, about Chulum.
Let me see. Let me see.
Well, Chulum is a new God that is taking over. Is the only real God.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm presenting this God to everybody, and people, more and more people are asking me questions about this God because it's the only non-violent God. No sacrifices, no heavens, no hells, no worshiping, no getting on your knees. You don't need to worship Him. So now Islam and Christianity has competition, and people are asking more and more questions about Shulum. And nobody can prove me wrong. Nobody. As long as the God is invisible.
When you were a believer, did you not have
I can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I wonder why that is. When you were a believer, were you not, did you not have were you just following blindly the book, or did you not did you not, was there not any evidence in your life, either in your personal life or just around you, people, events in the world, this universe, that convinced you there was a God?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The butterfly that suddenly stopped on my window, I'm like, man, that's the Holy Spirit talking to me. There's an entire video that I made that I talk about how the Holy Spirit, I mean, took me to fly around. I describe everything that happened and still believe that there's no God after I have that extreme, powerful experience. So yeah, for someone, I could tell you, yeah, there was absolutely proof to me that God was real. But now that I ask questions and I'm being honest with myself, I look back, I'm like, man, you know what? I was trying to validate this God with everything that happened around me. And I would tell people, you see that this beautiful sky, that's God. Or maybe there's a thunderstorm and the sun is coming through the clouds. You see, God. I would explain God with anything, but not because there was a God. It just felt good. I was desperate for good emotions. I was desperate for a God to come and touch my heart. But now that I look back, man, I was so confused in my life at that time that I needed a God. There's not everything wrong with believing in God. If you having a problem right now in your life and you think that Jesus is gonna help you to walk through a problem, man, believe in Jesus. Who am I to tell you not to do it? But at the long run, Jesus is not gonna give you a free meal. He wants something back from you, and he's coming for it. So I think at the long run, believing in God, even though it could be good for some people for a determined period of the time in their life, at the long run, it's going to prove wrong. It's going to prove to be bad for people. There's many bad teachings about Jesus and God. I can tell you many. I have done live streams talking about the negatives of believing in Jesus and God, the God of the Bible.
The negatives.
Absolutely. You want me to tell you something that is big, humongously negative?
Yeah, give me an example.
For example, I tell in my live streams to please someone to correct me, but the whole entire Christianity religion is based on an act of violence, which is the brutal murder, human sacrifice of Jesus Christ. God came up with the best idea to show love to humanity by doing an act of violence. There's
Right.
nothing loving about that. And I show a picture. One day I was talking to a person. He was telling me, no, 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 no. Christianity is based on love and God. And I show him a picture of Jesus, bloody. He got quiet. I'm like, as you were saying about being loving, look at the picture. You will not show this picture to a kid. You will traumatize it because of the amount of violence. So for me, I came to understand that when you have a God in your heart, you will erase those lines of honesty and you will start confusing reality with something that is made up. Christianity is based on an act of violence. That's a fact. Unfortunately, for Christians, that cannot be changed.
No, absolutely not. But where, I mean, for starters, just where Jesus was exalted to makes it worth it. I mean, he suffered a horrible death, an excruciating death, like many people in history have, even worse, being burned alive and so forth. But people die, they get buried alive. They're terrible, painful. They suffer from cancer for years, painful deaths. But the what he was exalted to. I mean, it was for like 6 hours he was on the cross. And bear with me here. It's easy for me to say because I'm not going through it, but a
Mm-hmm.
small price to pay for what he was rewarded with. Now that's just on the surface. I'm just speaking on the surface. Jesus did it out of love. He was a sacrifice because with sin, it requires blood to redeem. I mean, the old man has to die. It was symbolic, but you're right. It was brutal, but there was reason behind it. Man is brutal. Man is extremely
Mm-mm.
brutal. The crimes we have committed, the atrocities
Mm-mm.
that have come from man, it requires something
You're moving,
as
you're moving the focus. There's a possibility someone is telling you something, someone is giving you data that is jeopardizing your connection to a source of feel good right now, and you're trying to move the focus to
oh
something else to try to rationalize why God
yeah,
is loving. Can
that's
you
right.
can you accept that God shows an act of violence to show love for humanity?
No, well, no, I would no, not the way you put it. No, I would not accept that he showed no, I'm thinking there was good reason for it. Good
So
reason.
so
I was trying to explain that.
what would you call Jesus? What happened to Jesus? What would you call it?
Well, no, I wouldn't put it that. It would leave it as a thing. It was a sacrifice that had to be made. It was a
Mm-mm.
necessary.
You see, this is what takes me apart, broke my faith and my belief. I
Right.
had to take a decision. I either continue lying to myself or I'm being honest. For us human, killing another human being through a process of, hurting and hurting and hurting is called violence. The reason I can say it now and I couldn't say it before when I was a believer, because I didn't want to get disconnected. So I
Right.
decided, you know what? I think I'm done with the God. Yes, it was brutality, it was violence. I do not understand why the God with the infinite intelligence couldn't come up with a better plan than showing an act of violence to demonstrate his love. And all this is not to show really love for humanity. When I'm started being honest with myself, I understood that God sent his only son to be murdered in brutal violence, to pacify himself and not to do the great flood 2.0.
But not to satisfy himself. I mean, the redemption that came
Whoa,
from
whoa,
that
whoa, whoa.
act.
Wait. Please, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
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 better.
better. Man, yeah. Sorry.
It's okay, no problem, no problem. The
Go ahead. You were saying.
redemption that came with that act, it was definitely love.
Hello?
If we were still under the law, but listen, you're
Oh, wait a
rationalizing
second.
yourself. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. Now it's better.
Perfect, perfect. The redemption that came with that love, that was an act of goodness. It was a small price to pay, if you will, for the billions of people who would be redeemed from that act. Now, but listen, you're gonna accuse me again of rationalizing and just trying to find grounds to believe what I want to believe.
Yes.
But you're doing the same thing. You're just as rationalizing as much, but we're drawing different conclusions. You see it as senseless. I don't see it as senseless. I'm not trying to force. Like again, I don't want to believe in something that's not true. If Jesus did not exist and there's no redemption in his crucifixion, I don't want to be a stupid guy that believes in Santa Claus, you know what I mean? As something as implausible as Santa Claus. So I'm being careful about this. I see the wisdom behind it. I see the events that took place. I see myself as a sinner. I know through life I've done many, many bad things and still continue to do them. I know that if God does exist, I'm not pleasing him. So I can rationalize the necessity of what is being stated in the book. That to me was received by revelation. So I don't think men just on their own volition wrote this stuff to as a as a ways to manipulate people. There are religions that are stupid, like very far-fetched. Hinduism with the multiple gods and they got funny faces and one's got an elephant's face and something else. I mean, that gets a little far-fetched. Or Roman mythology and so forth, Greek mythology. We can see the stupidity, but Christ just the antithetical aspect of, like you said, something very violent and gruesome being the means to redemption. Like somebody had the audacity to say the flood. God just wiped 99.9% of the population off the planet. The Israelites, who were the chosen ones of God, were sent off into Assyria captivity, then Babylonian captivity, just decimated. It's a book that is not not fabric like it's not the kind of book that somebody's trying to compel somebody to believe something. It's almost a turn off. So it's almost like you have to question, are they that stupid, or is there something serious going on here? You find it stupid through your rationalization. You find it stupid. I'm finding it profound
I don't find it stupid. I found it unbeneficial for humanity
because it's not true.
because an act of violence should not be a way to show love.
Who was violent first, man or God?
It doesn't
Who
matter.
was violent?
If I tell you that humans were violent first, would that make uh, Jesus' violence something else? Would it change that fact?
The punishment would fit the crime. Then the punishment would fit the crime.
That would not change the fact that God chose to show love through an act of violence.
Jesus willingly, by his own volition, he went to the cross. Yes, that's what God mandated, but Christ obeyed it. Um, why would Christ do that?
Why would God participate in an act of violence?
Why no, not God. Why would Christ the man? I don't, I'm a Unitarian. I don't believe Jesus Christ was God.
Okay,
So as a
sorry.
man, no, not at all, not at all. Most that it's assumed, but I'm not in this case. Yeah. So Jesus, reading the scriptures, knowing that they were talking about him, agreed, agreed to go to the cross. Was he just being like stupid? Was he just senseless?
If you're asking me the question, I think
Yeah.
that whoever wrote this story was thinking that people were not going to question it like myself, and they probably will
Right.
just accept it, accept the fact that he sacrificed his life for you and me. But
It's too
ag-
absurd.
again, it's an act of violence. It doesn't
It
change
is.
that fact.
Oh, you're right. You're right. But the punishment fits the crime. Man was bad. Man was bad.
Man,
Sacrificing his
man,
own children.
man was horrible. Man was doing Somora and Gomorrah. Man was
Uh,
awful. Man was killing. Man was doing whatever you say.
Yeah.
Still, Jesus dying in the cross by whipping, spitting, kicking, stab, nailed, bloody from head to toe,
Yeah.
was still an act of violence.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I think there's grounds for it.
It was really hard for me to accept that as an act of violence because believing in the God and that He loved me made me feel very good. So saying that it was an act of violence and then suddenly having no God in my life, it doesn't make me happy. But the only thing that I agree with you that I'm doing something because it makes me feel good. I no longer have to pretend. That makes me feel good. I can be honest with myself. If there's a God, I hope that is not the God of the Bible because he is violent. And you know one more thing, I don't know. Probably I'll leave you with that. When you say that God saves you, God, that's another one for me that was very tough to understand. When God saves you, He's saving you from God, from nothing else. That's a tough one. And it was very extremely hard for me when I came to that realization. It did not make me happy. I thought that God was loving, and I find out, man, so God is saving me from Him? Yes, this is not a loving God. He's playing with your emotions, He's playing with your mind. He wants something from you. You got to find out what it is. There's nothing loving about an act of violence. There's nothing loving saying that He's going to save you when in reality He's saving you from Him. He's the Savior, He's the Punisher. There's no one else out there. There's no another creator that created the hell God is the only creator. He created the conditions to punish you, not because he loves you, because once you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah, right. Can you hear me?
So that's only my way of thinking. And I think that these things that I'm telling you, people twisting reality and calling it love, is problematic for humanity because people are making money with this supposed loving God, asking for donations, selling merchandise, telling that people are giving them special messages, and everything is a lie. Everything. All
You,
this
you don't think we,
supposedly. Go ahead.
oh, sorry, do we deserve to die?
Not at all.
Okay.
You believe that you deserve to die. I used to believe that, and I came to understand that I used to believe that because I got that information from a book.
Okay. Well, but you got that information from a book. You didn't look at your own life and see that you've been a bad person?
No, I don't see life as being good or bad because we're talking about humanity, and humanity needs to move forward. We need to explore, we need to discover. And there's nothing that is going to make us move and continue as human beings when you start describing things and putting labels as good or bad. When you touch fire, do you call it bad? Is
When
that is
somebody forces you to touch fire, yes.
no, 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 no. You're putting another variant. When you touch fire and it hurts, do you call it bad or you call it evil?
No,
No.
it's not a moral issue. It's not a moral issue.
Can you give me an example of a moral issue?
Yeah, somebody intentionally wanting to hurt somebody, want to steal from them or bully them or call them names because they think they're fat or they're ugly. That's
Okay.
that's a moral issue.
Okay. Someone punching someone else in the face
For no reason, yes.
for
Unprovoked,
no
yes.
reason. Yeah. Someone could say that that's evil, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But when you take that to a court, they don't call it evil. They call it you're impeding someone else's free walking in life. You are impeding for someone to be in themselves. And that's problematic. And we have to correct that. They don't call it evil for a reason. Because evil, you can put it different names. Different people would have different definitions of evil. But punching someone in the face, it hurts. It doesn't
Right.
matter which religion or which God you believe in. That's universal. It's gonna hurt.
Right,
So
but
go ahead.
law does have intent in mind. So even if you punch somebody in the face, they will take the time to assess, was it self-defense? Was it provoked and so forth? So they do analyze it. It's not black. There's an intent which has the moral aspect. You're right, the language may not say moral for whatever reason, but the intent does imply that when they seek intent.
So if someone punched someone else in the face for self-defense, which is the opposite of the other act,
Yeah.
a judge can decide, you know what, you punch the other person in self-defense because he punched you in the face first. So who's evil here?
Um, Punching in the face is not a good example. If you had to subdue somebody, if you had to put him on the ground, incapacitate him because he was a threat, he was a
Mm-hmm.
viable threat to you and your family, and you had to somehow incapacitate him, and it led to his death, the judge will still assess the gravity of what you did, and based on the intent, the premeditation, all that stuff, you will get a sentence accordingly.
Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, I don't see it beneficial, me as a human being, to label things as good or bad or evil or holy because it can get me into a situation where we're going to fight with definitions. Um, you be calling something evil, people from Islam, they're going to call it something else.
You
So
had a good friend, if you had a good friend and somebody violated them, what would you call that person, that the culprit? What would you call that person?
I
Would
will
you call them
think,
evil?
no, I'll probably call the police first, report the person so that they can get him and, have a court and probably go to
Right.
jail, for he did something against humanity. Now one human
But he,
being is going to have difficulty moving forward in life and going to affect other people because of the acts of other people, another person. I don't get
what
any
if that?
benefit, or nobody gets benefit by calling someone else evil. That's just a
No,
label. Go ahead, go ahead.
but if you were trying to help people by saying, I would not hang out with that guy, I would not do business with them because I understand in the last 10 years, I know 5 people that he stole money from. Like, would you not say to your friend you're trying to protect, he's a bad person, he's immoral, he lacks integrity,
I
he
would
has no
tell the my
scruples.
friend, this person we know has stole from 4 other people before you. So my recommendation is to please not let that person be your friend, because he's gonna end up stealing from you. Probably he has a problem of stealing, probably a mental problem. He does it to everybody. So please stay away from that person.
A mental
Yeah, that's it.
problem? It's not an evil problem. It's not
You
a
see,
problem of the
I
heart.
got this, believe it or not, from monkeys.
Right.
Monkeys
Well,
don't need a moral authority to tell them not to be killing and raping other monkeys. Somehow they figure it out that if they help themselves as a group, they could be in better standing than start killing and raping each other. Because if a monkey start punching other monkeys just because out of fun, someone is going to punch that monkey back, and they don't want the pain. So they learn by experience not to be doing things to other people that they don't want done to themselves. So they try to do their best to live in harmony. They
the
don't go
funny
calling
thing
around
is,
other monkeys evil.
right,
This is
right.
something
But
that you and me learned when we started reading this data from this book, to
but
put labels, because
what compels
we
the man? What compels?
learned through this process of acquiring this information and start seeing life through the eyes of people that wrote this book 2000 years ago, which they didn't have the knowledge that we have today. So in a moment in time, looking at things from the perspective of these people that wrote this book maybe was beneficial. In the year 2026, is no longer beneficial for humanity. We have to
Well,
understand that individuals think in certain ways because of the data that they are acquiring, either in books, through vaccines, through whatever information, maybe
but
media,
we don't know more now than
and
they knew
people
back then.
are taking decisions that are not beneficial to humanity.
But they're not, they
So we
weren't
cannot go
less
around calling media
informed.
evil, calling the vaccine evil. No. Why are we doing these things that are against us humans? That
Well,
explains
those
why
people
we
knew.
keep calling every president in the United States evil. Trump is evil. Biden is
Well, they
evil.
are.
But
They
hey,
are.
how about we ask the proper questions? Why we keep putting evil people in power? Maybe we're
Well,
doing
that's
something
evil
wrong.
also. That's evil, an act
If
of
we keep
evil
calling
also.
people evil, we're never gonna solve the problem.
We are. Your philosophy
So
will
that's why
avoid
I
it.
say to you and share with you that the book was keeping me emotional and very small minded. I had to
Oh,
let go of the book to start asking the
oh.
big questions. Where is God? How come I don't see it? I don't smell it. I don't touch it.
You
Nobody can
you
point
can't
it to
prove
me where he's the God.
you cannot prove your point.
The
You
only time
can't.
I'm going to see God is when I die, when I no longer have eyes. That doesn't make sense. Then I worry about God when I die, not when I'm in life, on this earth.
No, no,
And
no.
besides that,
Many men,
if I get sick,
many men,
I'm not going to be seeking no God. I'm going to be seeking another human being. So what am I
many
doing?
people experience
That's
God
just
in
my
this
point of view.
life.
I don't want to change your mind on anything.
Right, right, right. But you're trying to help,
You still
obviously.
there? Still there?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, hello. Hi.
Oh,
Can
hold
you hear
on.
me?
I have a little problem with my
Hello.
microphone. Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, yeah. No, I was speaking for a while there. Yeah, yeah. I
Sorry.
wasn't sure if you could. That's okay, no problem. Um, no, the people back then were just as smart as we are now as far as human nature goes. They knew human nature. Technology was not as advanced, and maybe they were a bit more superstitious, possibly about
Mhm.
the spiritual realm. But they knew evil when they saw it. They knew a bad kid when they saw it. He was always, and I was going to say, what compels somebody to be bad? What compels a man to hate another man for the color of his skin? It makes no sense. It is not rational. It's not intellectual. It's something from the heart. There's no rhyme or reason. Why would a man drink himself to death as an alcoholic, which is prevalent throughout every society? These are acts. This is why we call it evil, because intellect does not motivate a man to do these things.
I can give you a few examples. I can give you many examples where the evil definition will not apply in a beneficial way for humanity. For example, there's a town in the United States where men were starting to go to jail because of fights, and then 10 people in jail, 10 guys, and then 2 months later, there's 120 people in jail because of punching each other.
Right.
2 years later, you have evil people punching other people around. Now you have more than 4,000 people in jail because of punching. Yeah, there's a lot of evil in the world, right?
Right. Right.
And that's it. But some guy came that doesn't believe in God. He's like, man, wait a second. I see a pattern here. Tell me what's the common denominator between these people that are in jail? Yeah, they all live in a town. What's in the town? There's a factory, and they found that the water is contaminated. And these people chemistry has changed and make them violent. So he comes back and tell, you know what? Stop calling these people evil. Get rid of this factory because they're polluting the water, and all these people are drinking chemicals that are making changing their hormones. They get rid of
That's a true
the
story?
wait, let me finish. They get rid of the factory, they test the water, and the guy is correct. It's full of chemicals, especially affecting man between 25 and 45 years old. It will make people aggressive. It only took one person to step away from labeling people from information taken from a book that was written 2,000 years ago to understand a problem. So,
No.
in my example, what happens with evil? Now, the evil, the real evil, was whoever was thinking that these people was evil because they were perpetuating a problem. It was going to take what, 120,000 people in jail to someone notice that something was wrong. So
No, that's a very
I just give you an
that's an
example
isolated
where
case.
evil doesn't apply in a very good way.
No, no, that's a very isolated case. There are people who just are malicious. They're always up to no good. They're always planning to rip somebody off. They're not happy unless they power trip. Every in any circle anywhere on the planet, rural, urban, anywhere, blue collar, white collar, there's always somebody trying to rip somebody off. And it's not the water. Everybody's drinking the same water, even within a family. One kid's good, the other kid's a little bit, twisted, the other kid's like this or that. Even within the family and the same influences, you just
But
get a good seed, a bad seed.
but that's problematic still because I can continue giving you examples where, for example, the guy is just bad. He's just bad. He likes to abuse other people. You say that guy, you see Javier, that guy is evil naturally. He's like that. But
Right.
when you talk to the guy and you find out that he was abused and raped when he was a little kid for what, 10 years? Now you come to understand maybe I shouldn't call him evil.
And there are many people in the same situation that did not turn out the same way.
Absolutely, because they got the proper help or they have the tools to deal with a traumatic experience, which not all people have those tools or those opportunities. You see,
Right.
when you start putting labels to things that you think that you're doing something good, because labeling people makes you feel good, because in your mind, the way your brain works, you have to structurize whatever you're looking at and giving your attention, just so you can try to explain your life and feel good about what you're looking around. Yeah, this person does something good, he's evil. Don't get in close to me. I don't have to deal with this person. Right now, a guy think that he's a woman.
Right.
Yeah, that's evil, man. That's the devil, right?
Absolutely.
No. I don't know if you know a few people like this. You can ask them a few questions and you will find out something that probably you're not understanding. You don't have the knowledge to understand why they want to be something else and not to be themselves. They want to run outside of their body and want to be something else that is not them. Once you understand what's going on, you're like, man, wait a second, this has nothing to do with the devil or evil. There's a pattern here.
It's an entitlement. It's narcissistic. They feel they're entitled. They're spoiled. They're brats. They're bullies. They're forcing other people to see things their way, to conform to their reality.
Congratulations.
There's something wicked about it.
Congratulations. You just described a Christian. They're, they're
No,
entitled. Listen for a second, okay? I'm trying to offend or nothing. A
yeah, yeah,
Christian will think that he's in the right. He will
right,
try to shove their God into people's faces and tell them repent because God is good. It's
right.
just your belief because that feels good to you. But for most people, you are a selfish human being that only are thinking about your salvation and your little God bubble. Some people think like that. I don't think like that, because then I will be doing the same thing to you as I'm doing like another person. They're evil. You're evil because you think of
I
a witchcraft god that does demons and spirits, and sacrifices. You are into witchcraft. I could think
I have
that
not
way.
I have nothing to gain if I just go out in public and start to evangelize and I convert 10 people and I don't see them again. I have nothing to gain.
People do that because it makes them feel good to be sharing the God with other people. When in reality, they are just thinking about themselves and their emotions.
How so?
Because believing in God has nothing to do with believing in God. It has to do with your feelings. Talking about
So I
God, when someone wants to share the gospel with another person, they do it because of personal reasons. They don't do it for the God or for the other person.
no,
Spreading the
no.
gospel makes people feel good about themselves because they think they're doing something good. But a lot of people, when they start hearing the gospel, they run away because they think you're crazy or you're selfish or you and your God. People think like that, believe it or not.
No, I know. I know I do. I know I've met some. They've accused me of that, absolutely.
So you know what I'm
But no,
talking
but I mean,
about.
well, I know what you're talking. I know the way some people feel, but I know that they're wrong. I know other people appreciate it. They understand it's out of care and concern. Other people who are projecting, as far as I'm concerned, they're projecting. They think this is some evil intent for me imposing
Mm-hmm.
my views upon
Mm-hmm.
others. I'm
Yes.
telling them the way to like if I was a fitness instructor. I would be promoting people to eat healthy, to exercise and all that stuff, just because I know it makes for a good society.
It makes you
Even
feel
just
good. It makes you feel good
well,
that you
no, but
contributed for
it's
your
not.
society.
It's no, I think you're being a bit narrow-minded to a certain degree, or that isolated in the sense that everybody's motive you're thinking is selfish.
It
Some
is.
people are
I can demonstrate it.
altruistic. Oh
I
no,
can.
when you give an anecdote, but there's altruism, there's charity. People will give somebody money they'll never see again because they really feel they're helping that person. Yes, it makes them feel good, but they know for sure that other person has benefited.
You are saying it.
I've seen it. I've
No,
seen it. I know people who have,
you just said it. The people do it because it makes them feel good. There's
oh,
nothing
they're
wrong with
happy.
that.
No, but they're happy. I'm happy to see other people benefit. If I see somebody knocked on the ground and he's bleeding, I want to go help him. I will feel good if he recovers. Like
Yes.
you're not making that distinction.
Yeah, but
If
you just said it. It makes you feel good. There's an
okay,
emotional factor in every action because feelings, as a human being, unless you are an extraterrestrial, feelings precedes action. You must feel something in order to act on something. That's
but
humanity.
but
You're not
but
gonna
but,
change
but
that.
no, but you're right. But everybody has that in them. So right now, if I'm watching, I can see you on the screen right now. Let's say the light above you came down and hit you on the head, and it hurts.
Mhm.
I'm going to sit there and say, "Are you okay?" And I'm going to be concerned. Go, listen. Why don't you go put a cold ice pack on your head so it doesn't swell up? Now, am I having false motives there by talking like that, being concerned that way?
I think you knowing that you are a good human being, acting in accordance to what you think about yourself, being a caring human being, is going to make you feel good. So Javier, are you
Uh-huh.
okay? I'm gonna say okay. See, what I'm trying to communicate with you and with my live streams is that there's nothing wrong with being selfish. Selfish is a word that I don't like. There's nothing wrong to act on your feelings because you are a human being, you are designed that way. The problem is when you are trying to make this not a fact. So why would you do that? Because then when we move to the beliefs in God, that applies also. You believe in God because of emotional reasons. There's not another reason apart from emotional
No,
reasons.
no, you're wrong. There's
Tell,
enough
tell me
cases.
tell me just one example where you think I'm wrong. Give me an example.
Anybody who made a sacrifice for another person, anybody who took a loss for another person, anybody who paid them money to help them to go to school, but they couldn't afford to do so, but they still helped them. Anybody who gave their life for somebody else. Anybody who did a pure act of altruism is an example of that.
There's people in humanity where an act of heroism is a better option for them than just watching someone else die and doing nothing because they know they will not be able to live with themselves because the way they were brought up and what they dad or mom teach them to be a human being, a caring human being. So if you let someone die in front of you, you are not a caring human being. And you know that you're gonna live from then on a living hell because you are gonna think that you are a complete coward and you know that you will not be able to deal with it. You're gonna end up probably, ending it. So you know what? I'm gonna live to what my parents told me to be a courageous human being. I'm gonna try to save this person. You see, I don't see, I'm still trying to hear from someone to tell me that you don't act upon your feelings because then you will be an extraterrestrial being, not a human being. You are designed that way. So if you believe in a God, you're doing it because you're feeling something. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is not understanding that because if you don't understand that, someone else is going to use you as long as you don't have that knowledge. That's why do you think that people from Islam are correct in them spreading the world, spreading their gospel and getting more and more people to believe in Islam? Do you think that's good and nice and beautiful?
Yeah, I think if a Muslim believes it's true and that it is the true religion,
Do you think it's
I think
true? Do you think?
Islam? No, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I think Muhammad's a fake prophet. I think he's a fault. I think he's an antichrist.
Yeah, but do you understand that they believe that you are wrong?
Oh, of course, of course. That's
So who's
fine.
who's
That's
who's
fine.
right?
The one who makes more sense, the one who conforms to reality,
That makes
the
no
one who,
sense. That makes no sense. The correct one, the true one, should be the God that is real. Which one is the real God?
the one who makes more sense.
Which one
You
makes
feel
more
that God,
sense?
you feel that God sacrificing his son makes no sense.
No, wait,
So
wait,
you
wait,
reject.
wait. Which one makes more sense?
Well, to me, Christianity
Oh
does.
yeah,
Out
yeah,
of all,
yeah. To you makes more sense, not to the
oh,
Muslim
right, right.
guy.
No, but that's okay. But I mean, a debate will clear that up. I mean, two people in the same room discussing these things will
No,
clear that up.
no. I can tell you from experience, participating in debates, they don't go anywhere. You can debate for
Oh,
days, and they're not going to go anywhere. You know why? Because if a God is real, there should be no debates about it.
no.
If we're
Well,
debating about it, it's because most likely there's nothing. So you can debate, you yourself can debate a Muslim, and you can tell him, hey, your God is not real. And he's going to tell you, hey, your God is not real. Okay, that's your debate. We know what's going to happen for the
oh,
next 3 hours.
but people attend debates. Like, so you have two interlocutors speaking with one another, but you have the audience, and the debaters are trying to appeal to the audience. So 10 people left that room changed.
You are appealing to people's emotions.
No, no, to the rationale, to the rationale.
No, you know why I'll tell you this? I don't know if you have seen or participated in debates. You
No,
understand
I've
that
seen a lot.
probably, yeah, 99.9 of debates, they get emotional. You know why? Because people that
Yes.
are debating, they know that rationally they are not gonna get to anybody, because you have two people telling themselves your God is not real. No, your God is not real. Mine is real. No, yours is not real. Mine is real. So intellectually, we're not gonna go anywhere. So we're gonna start yelling higher and higher, and calling people names. Probably the public is gonna go emotional, and they're gonna believe that my God is real, and we're not going
Not
anywhere.
all Not all debates are like that. I mean,
Oh
if
yeah.
they get heated, but no, no, there's a lot of wisdom in debates. There's a lot of rationale and intellect in debates. There are those moments of what you said. There are those moments where it gets very heated. There are those, but it's not predominantly
if
the
you if you
rhetoric
find
of
if you
debate.
find a debate that you think that there's something fruitful for humanity that comes out of that debate, please send me the link, because I will review it like I have
Well,
reviewed debates before.
right. I see. I see. Okay. Sure, sure. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, you've read the Bible. I've read the Bible. I think this is a beautiful book. You think it's just man's contrivance to get people to, for whatever reason, just to go astray or just to be dummies. So I could give you a debate that I think has imparted a lot of wisdom and intellect, but you're obviously, I think through your eyes and between my eyes and your eyes, we're going to come to different conclusions. Yes.
Probably because I will not see it looking for emotional um, sections of the debate, trying to validate my belief in the God like I used to do before. I would find things in what someone would say in order to validate my feelings for the God, because I want those good feelings to keep coming. So if you send me one of these debates, I will be in the middle, analyzing everything they say, because I'm not looking for archaeological findings. I'm not looking for something that feels good about the book. I want to know if one of these guys is going to point me to a God. Like when it's Islam, Muslim debates Christian, I'm not in favor of anybody. I'm just trying to see which one of them is going to point me to where the God is that they believe in. But after 2 hours of listening to them talk about their gods, there's nothing for me in there. There's no God. Oh, but they're going to see people in the public go like, oh, yeah, yeah, the Christian obliterated the Muslim guy. Why? Because because he proved that the God of the Bible is real. Oh, okay, okay. That's
Right,
my
right.
experience.
What's
I think,
that?
so if you find one of these debates that you think is fruitful through humanity, there's information that can be used for humanity to move forward. Send it to me. I'll review it and probably I'll make a video reaction of it and give
Right,
my thoughts about it. Like I've done before. I have videos that I have done analyzing debates.
right. I see. Oh, can you hear me right now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, okay, okay. I'll keep it in mind. I'll keep it in mind. But you're gonna be difficult. Yeah. You're very you're. I mean, we're both firm on our positions. Yeah. So we probably wouldn't see eye to eye. I wouldn't waste your time in that respect. Um,
But this has been a
Interesting.
very respectful conversation. You're a very smart man, I can tell, and very respectful. And I appreciate it because still, I like for people to put to the test the way I see life. I could be wrong about things. So your questions and your points of view make me analyze myself. I'm not looking for truth, especially for a truth for a God, really. I'm just trying to understand myself and what I'm doing here on earth. And if someone can give me a piece of information so I can move toward a direction so I can understand more about myself, what I'm doing on this earth, and what are we doing as humanity here on this earth? What is this universe? Where it came from?
Right.
I'll be happy to hear anybody tell me about it. I'm looking for
But
information.
well, but you're doing the exact same process that you're accusing others of. So I'm in your position, like many years ago. I'm what you just stated. I was there. Everybody was there at one point. We looked around. I want to know what my purpose in the universe. I want to know what's going on. What's the best way to comport myself that'll bring? I mean, yeah, you're right. It's that'll bring peace, happiness, contentment, maturity, and wisdom. And we have to be objective and analyze these things. What exists? Is there a spiritual realm? Did we come from a Big Bang explosion? Are we just secular creatures, or do we have a spiritual dimension to us? Do we, can we talk on that level of metaphysics? And again, right and wrong, morality. These are spiritual aspects that is so. Yeah, you draw a conclusion. Could this just come from nothing? So we're seeking the same thing, but you put a negative spin on it when you talk about religious people. Like you're making it seem like they're misguided in a sense, or they're credulous, they're foolish. But what you just described is exactly how I would call every theist. Just
I,
looking for the truth.
yeah, I would not call it foolish. You are stuck in your emotions. Believing in nothing, having no God in my life doesn't feel good. Someone asked me, Javier, okay, so you're saying this stuff on live stream. So what makes you happy? Well, my family. So you have no God in your life, no morals? No, I don't. If I don't have my family, I'm going to feel bad. That's the only thing I have. Friends, yes. I have a job. No God. So it's very sad and empty. What's going to happen when I die? I don't know. That bothers me. But when I was a believer, I was very happy. I'm like, you know what? God is going to be waiting for me. He's going to love me. He's going to hug me. He's going to save me. I should have stayed there. I was flying in the sky, you know. Now everything feels lonely. So no, I'm not criticizing you. If the God feels good to you, good for you. Good for the Islam
Well,
that their God feels good. I don't feel good. There's nothing there for me.
it's terrible. If there's no God, I'm a stupid idiot. If there's no God,
No,
I'm
no,
a
no, no.
stupid
No,
idiot.
please. No, no. Don't say that. Don't say that, please. You're not a stupid idiot because the way you talk, the way you think, I can tell that you're a smart person and very respectful person. It's just that in the way I see it, okay, and I could be wrong. You're acting in a way that I used to act when I was presented with information that was useful for me at that time. It felt good. I really liked the community of the church. It's just that for me, in my case, it came to a point that the God was hurting me more than helping me. Just because probably the way I am, I'm a very extremely rational person. I want to understand everything. I have this crazy appetite to understand things.
Right.
I'm a person that is mostly self-thought, you know. So I have
Okay.
this evil thing in me that I have to question everything. I don't know why God made me like that.
Well, no, inquisitive. To be inquisitive, there's nothing wrong with it, provided your motives are pure and you're truly being objective. Nothing wrong with being inquisitive because there's nothing to hide. God has nothing to hide. He wants people to question because the facts are the facts. If he exists, you can't, there's not a problem you're going to give somebody that they can't work their way out of it with God in the picture. So there's nothing to hide. So inquisitiveness is not the crime. I know Bart Ehrman's inquisitive. Richard Dawkins is inquisitive. You name any of the major atheists, Matt Dillahunty, the Four
Uh,
Horsemen, whoever they were.
are you?
But well, yeah, I would like to think so. I would like to think I'm inquisitive. I would like to think I'm objective, and
Ha-
and rational. I would like to think so.
have you ever asked yourself what was God doing before he created the universe? Because he's
Yep, I
eternal.
have.
Well, what do you think he was doing before he created humanity? Because he's eternal. What was he doing for eternity?
Good question. I've never been able to come up with an answer, and it's pretty mind blowing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the questions that cracked my belief system, my faith. I'm like, wait a second, I never asked myself this question before. Well, what's wrong with me? I think I'm a sinner. Why asking myself these questions?
Right. Well, okay. No, I mean, the church might tell you it's wrong to ask questions. I don't think so whatsoever. You have to ask questions. That's why I'm a Unitarian. I don't believe Jesus is God, even though mainstream Christianity believes it, and they consider me a heretic. So no,
Hmm.
inquisitiveness is compulsory. You have to question. I don't accept a lot of mainstream churches' dogma and all that stuff. So it's requisite, it is imperative that we question for sure, but provided it's for the right motive.
I understand. I have a feeling that with you, probably, I don't know, probably in a couple of years, we can have a different conversations. Uh, Probably
Possibly.
digging more and asking tough questions like the one I just asked you. What was God doing for eternity before He created you and
Yeah,
me?
that's a tough question. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it. No, you know, normally I do live streams for 1 hour, and sometimes I extend it a little bit more when I'm having a interesting conversation like the one I'm having with you. So no, you
Right.
know, I don't have to end it in 1 hour. But this has been an extremely interesting conversation with you. And again, thank you for not calling
Likewise.
me names like people normally do.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. Yeah, that's not necessary. So yeah, not a problem. Yeah.
Thank you very much. If you ever want to have a conversation, I'm usually here at nighttime.
Fantastic. Good to know. I appreciate that. Thank you very much also. Very informative, very interesting. Have a great evening.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Wow. That was absolutely incredibly interesting. Thank you very much, sir. I didn't even ask you your name. Sometimes I try not to ask names because people sometimes get uncomfortable. But I would like to know his name. Thank you very much for the conversation. That was really interesting. And the way he talks, wow, very eloquently. I would like to speak like that too. But anyways, thank you very much for your call. Thank you for being in the live stream. And to anybody that was listening, thank you for being here. If you're watching this after it's been recorded or through a short, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thank you.